My name's Mike Ellis. I have a problem. I rescue, refurbish, restore and revitalise vintage drums, in particular Premier drums. In this programme I'll share with you my adventures, ups and downs, ins and outs, triumphs and tragedies as I lavish some TLC on vintage British drums. Welcome to the Drum Fettler. Well, welcome back to the Drum Fettler. In this edition we're going to be looking at Resonator snares. In fact, we're going to be building one. A big one. But did Premier ever make a Resonator snare, I hear you ask?
Did Premier ever make a Resonator snare?
Well, stay tuned and all your questions will be answered.
Yay!
We're also going to be starting work on a transparent blue bass drum. A nice big project that's going to be taking a couple of weeks to finish. But it should be very interesting because it's not all that meets the eye. Remember this? What is it? It's a 14 by 12 marching snare. Been knocking around the workshop for a while, decided it's going to become a 14 by 12 Resonator snare. Yes, it's the big, large, beautiful and bountiful 14 by 12 X marching snare that I foolishly thought I could turn into a snare drum, but I'm going to anyway because, well, I'm full. I need to tidy that up, get a nice straight edge. Certainly on the batter side, the resonance side is quite neat actually, so I think that should be okay. We'll leave that as it is. Now, the inner liner, in the interests of recycling, saving the world and keeping polar bears alive and foxy woxy out on the hills and dales, I'm going to be recycling the inner liner from an 18-inch Resonator. Now this has been kicking around my storage for some time. I'm going to be using this because it's been painted really badly, and I just thought a white liner would be nice. A little bit of colour coordination going on the inside as well as the outside, and on the inside too. I already said that, didn't I? Anyway, yeah, so we'll be cutting the inner liner out of this. I'll sand it down, respray it, get it looking all lovely and neat. Another new project that's come through the gates of Blenheim Towers is this Ludwig Vistalite bass drum shell. It's going to have some brothers and sisters, but it's not going to be a Ludwig. It's a custom job. Customer very specifically wants the blue Ludwig Vistalite, but not with Ludwig lugs. Watch this space. It's going to be interesting, this one. On an unrelated note, I've been told, or it's been pointed out to me, that my presentation style is not very 21st century. It's not down with the kids, it's not what people expect to see on their computers, or more importantly on their smartphones. So I'll do a bit in the style of what we would normally expect for the smartphone generation. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Right, what we've got here is, that's the snare drum, some other stuff inside that, but what we're going to do is make this wooden bit. There's something very important I've got to show you. As you can see, can you see that? That's the, so I hope that's cleared that up for you, what goes on inside a Resonator snare. Right, well, that's going to really help us. The inner liner for the 40 by 12 is done. It's fitted. I'm just letting the inner lacquer dry off now. It's got a lovely new coat of white lacquer. Now I just need to see if I can find some hoops for it, and I'm wondering, should I go die-cast or should I go steel? It's going to depend on availability. On the die-cast front, I've only got batter side, streamlined and beer barrel, and then this rather I'm not sure what it is. I think it's Carlton. Don't know, it's not sure about the shape of that hole. Let's see what we've got here. Well, that's it with the better side. Aluminium stress rings. Once was wooden hoop. But it's amazing what you find when you forget what you've got. A black hoop. Oh, what's this? Snare side. Oh, 10 lug. That's no good. 10 lug as well. Yes. Diamond blast. Okay, I've made an executive decision. I'm going to use die-cast. I'm going to use a proper Premier die-cast batter side, and then I'm going to use this unusual die-cast on the bottom. It seems to have these little marching knobs. Not sure what they're for. I think that's for a leg rest, because I don't have the leg rest. So I'm going to use that and probably replace it with a proper Premier die-cast snare side as and when the mood takes me. We'll get it all together, see how it looks, see how it sounds, and see if anyone's interested in buying it.
Is your hi-hat pole rod looking tatty, with chrome peeling off? Does having a bent rod fill you with shame and cause your bandmates to make fun of you? Has your rod been cut down and it's not quite as long as it once was? Are you struggling to find a replacement because all the new ones now are bloody metric? Well, worry no more and look no further. Burnham Drums have the answer for you. 24, yes, count them, 24 inches of stainless steel loveliness, replete with a 20G 1/4-inch Whitworth thread at one end and a lovely, lovely radio on the other end. With this Whitworth thread, it means it will fit. Lock fast. Trilock, TriStar, Trident, Triad, this one, Prolock, ones in the 60s that we haven't got a name for, and even older ones. Rush now as fast as ever you can to this place and buy one. Now! I think I ripped something.
Now we come to the blue Vistalite bass drum. This is for a client who I've done quite a bit of work for in the past, and he has a very unique way of expressing himself in the kits that he has made. Essentially, he says, well, I want this shell, and I want those lugs, and I want this tom hold, and those spurs, and that. And he picks and chooses, and they're all vintage. And the other thing they usually are drums that you might think, well, they're way past their sell-by date, they can't be any use to anybody. But we managed to rescue them and give them another lease of life. This is the latest project. He specifically wanted a blue transparent kit. Single-headed concert tom kit, I think it's going to be, I don't know. But this is the first drum, and it's going to be a single-headed bass drum. So what I need to do, as per his instructions, this is the tom holder that he requires fitting. Now, as you can see, there's already a hole drilled for the original hole, which I presume was the Ludwig, so I've got to try and arrange this so it covers as many of the holes. Unfortunately, there's going to be one just at the back that's going to be uncovered. The footprint of the tom holder isn't big enough, so I think I'll just put a round head coach bolt in that. And also, I need to fit these Premier disappearing spurs. Now, these are quite old. These were, the last time I saw these were on, I think, Royale kits in the early 80s, but versions of these started in the 1960s, the early 1960s, originally with a spring lever, and then they went and put a wing bolt on them. They were, like I say, fitted, I think it was Royale was the last kit that we saw them on, possibly as late as 1987, 1988. So I need to now very carefully do the old many measurings and one drillings and get these items fitted onto the drum. A lot of people say to me, a man like you shouldn't be wearing Speedos out in public. Now get out of my shop. A lot of people say to me, what is it with these Resonator snare drums? They seem to be a rather rare beast. What do we know about them? In 1973, a newcomer to the Premier catalogue was the Kenny Clare Resonator range, with their unique inner liner creating the sound chamber and clean, hardware-free interiors. A snare drum option wasn't offered at this time, but around 1976, a new, albeit short-lived option was the 101, described as a special version of the 37, but with the exclusive Premier Resonator shell. Despite the marketing exhortations, the drum was not a success and was not listed again. The inner shell concept on snare drums was resurrected in 1984 with the introduction of the Project 1. Although this was a far more sophisticated affair than simply adding a birch liner to an existing production drum, it was only available for a few years, and after the Resonator range ended production in 1993, no further snare drums featured an inner liner. Remember the blank plates I showed you a few episodes ago to replace the 39250 sockets? We'll get a new matching one here. This is the Olympic Blue Swirl. So if you think that's something that your drum kit could do with, pop along to the website, have a look. There's other colours there as well. And the stainless steel ones, if that's a better option for you, if we haven't got a colour that matches your lovely drum kit. Now we can start putting the finishing touches to Mrs. Big Snare and then assemble her. I'm just going to tidy up the bearing edges, a little bit of overspray on the lacquer because I gave the final coat when it was in the drum. Just very gentle strokes. I just want to take off, obviously, with the spicks and specks of paint and not put any flat spots into the bearing edge. Yeah, that's it, it's gone. Now what I have done is I've put a very, very shallow, almost imperceptible snare bed in the bearing edge on the Reso side, because this was originally fitted with the flow beam parallel action, which meant the wires would go up and down in a parallel action, which is why it's called parallel action. That's that side done. Let's get on with the other side. Yeah, that feels great. Excellent. Right. Okay, now then. Oops. Looking a bit grubby, so we'll give them a little bit of a polish. I had a quick look online and had a very cursory look through my archives to see if I can identify these hoops and not come up with them. But if anybody knows what they are, you can see they've got a square profile around the rod holes, and that's the hole slot for the snare wire cord. So if anybody out there happens to know what these are, I think they're Carlton. I don't know why, I just want to say they are Carlton, but I could be wrong. But if anybody knows, please let me know. Most helpful. That's the mystery hoop done. I noticed when I was cleaning that the leg rest knobs were not riveted on, which they usually are when I've seen them before. They're actually just held on by 2 screws, so I decided to take those off. Anybody needs some knobs, let me know. Right, that's the Premier hoop done. Let's go and find some heads. Right, I've got a not very well used Evans CAD-CAM Uno 58. And a lovely new snare side head. So let's put those on. That's the heads on. Some lovely snare wires. And some cord. pleased with that. I've opted for a Red Premier P decal rather than a badge because, as you can see, the vent hole is over the throw-off, and there's another one round on the butt end side, which is where on the military drums they were situated along with the original badge. And I just felt this is really most likely going to be used as a kit snare, so I should put something in the kit snare badge position, and I think it looks rather neat. So well, that's turned out jolly nicely, hasn't it? All parcel, it's always fun when a parcel arrives. Let's see what goodies have come for me. Look! Sweeties and snacks! Mmm! Oh, I'm so happy! I'm so happy! That's the tom holder fitted, relatively painless. Taking the badge off, I'll get all that residual glue cleaned off, and we've got a new vent grommet in there. Right, now, let's get those spurs sorted. Right, got all the parts, the spurs, all nicely polished up and ready to go on, so let's get those fitted. Well, that works. Excellent. Spur one done. Now what I've done is I've made a little template from doing drills. I made a template on this side of where the spur has gone, so you can't really see it. Well, you won't be able to see it on the camera, but I can just about make out. I'll do the mirror image on the other side. That's the second spur done. Let's give these spurs a bit of a clean, a bit grubby at the ends. Righto, spurs are on, fit perfectly, move in and out as they should do when you want them to. That's everything I can do just at the moment, and what we're waiting for now, as always, waiting for stuff to be delivered, is some gaskets for the lugs that are going to go on. I think I've got all the heads and hoops and everything, so maybe next time I'll get on with the hoops. That is for next time. Now then, deliveries. I'm sure I was waiting for something today. Where could it be? Just had a parcel delivered by Hermes. Well, when I say just delivered, it was delivered 3 hours ago to the bin store, which is a mile away down the track. Great service that, you know. Most other couriers and the post office managed to struggle to the actual address here and deliver the parcel, but let's see what it is. It's a lovely Premier multi-clamp and boom arm. I do like Doing the 14 by 12 snare got me thinking, as I'm sure it does with the rest of you, where did I actually get this drum from? As I say, it had been kicking around the workshop for years, and I just couldn't remember where it came from. And suddenly, last night, it popped in there, reminded me that I'd actually got it maybe 10 years ago at a drum show, right at the end of the show, the guy who was selling it was one of those who wanted to sell everything. He just didn't want to take anything home with him. So I got that drum and this one for something like £10. Now, I didn't know what I was doing. Military drums, not my thing at all. Kit drums, concert snares, yeah, I can cope with those. So I did what the only thing I could do was I got the hoops off, I took the internal mechanisms out, and I decided though to keep this one because I was starting to build a polychromatic red kit, and I thought this will be great. Nice big snare, look at it, oh, big rock snare to go with my big poly red kit. So that's why I did it, and I've used this on a few recording sessions in a sort of faux military style, because I'm no rudimental drummer by any stretch of the imagination. But the other drum, well, the parts did go, because people get in touch and say, have you got an internal snare mechanism, the one that goes at the top of the marching snare? And I go, as it happens, yes I have. Have you got the internal snare wires that go at the top of the drum? As it happens, yes I have. So it's kind of useful to have those things if you come across them. But it was just interesting to reminisce how I got them when a couple of days ago I was like, where on earth did this come from? And I'm sure there's lots of other people who are like that when searching through the storage, the shed, the garage, the loft, or wherever you keep your drums, and you go, where did I get this stuff from? And the best thing is when you find something great that you didn't know you had, you'd forgotten about. It's all fun and games. Anyway, more fun and games, more restorations, more drum-related silliness, and the next edition of the Drum Fettler. See you then.